It might be the single biggest money decision of your retirement, and most people make it on a rumor. When should you claim Social Security? At 62, the moment you can? At 67? Or wait all the way to 70? You have probably heard someone say, with total confidence, just take it early or always wait. But here is the truth almost nobody tells you. There is no single right answer. The best age to claim is not the same for everyone, and choosing well can mean tens of thousands of dollars over your retirement. I spent more than 20 years in banking, sitting with people right at this crossroads. So today, I will not tell you what to do. I will show you how to decide what is right for you. By the end, you will understand this choice better than almost anyone giving you advice about it. A quick but important note. I spent more than 20 years in banking, including about 10 years as a branch manager and district manager. But I am not your banker, your attorney, or your financial advisor, and nothing in this video is personal financial advice. This decision is genuinely personal. It is permanent once you make it, and the right move depends on details only you and a trusted professional can know. The numbers here are current as of 2026, but they can change, so check your own situation. My only goal is to hand you the framework so you can think it through and ask the right questions. Any stories come from real experience, with the details changed. With that said, let us walk through it. So let us start with how this works, in plain English. You can begin claiming Social Security as early as 62, but there is a special age called your full retirement age, and for most people retiring now, that is 67. At full retirement age, you get 100% of the benefit you earned. Claim before that, and your monthly check is permanently smaller. Wait past it, and your check is permanently larger. You can keep waiting until 70, but not beyond, because after 70, your benefit stops growing. So your real window is 62 to 70, and where you land in it sets your income for the rest of your life. Let us look at what each end costs and pays. First, claiming early at 62. The draw is obvious. You get your money years sooner and collect more checks over your lifetime. For some people, that is exactly right. But here is the trade-off, and it is big. Claiming at 62 permanently cuts your monthly benefit by about 30% compared to full retirement age. That is not a temporary dip. That smaller check is your check for life. So if your full benefit would have been $2,000 a month, claiming at 62 drops it to around $1,400 permanently. You trade a bigger monthly check forever for the chance to start right away. Maybe your health is a concern, or maybe you simply value those early years more than a larger check later. For some, that trade is absolutely worth it. Now the other end, waiting. For every year you hold off past full retirement age, your benefit grows by about 8% all the way to 70. Wait from 67 to 70, and your check ends up about 24% larger, permanently. And because cost of living raises build on that bigger number, the gap keeps compounding for life. So that same $2,000 benefit becomes roughly $2,500 a month if you wait to 70. The catch is you have to wait, and you collect for fewer years. You give up several years of checks for a much larger one later. So early gives you more checks, smaller. Waiting gives you fewer checks, bigger. Think of waiting as buying yourself a raise that lasts the rest of your life. So how do you weigh more money now against more money later? This is where a simple idea called the break-even age comes in. If you claim early, you jump to an early lead, collecting checks for years while the patient person gets nothing. But once they finally claim their bigger check, they start catching up, a little every month, until their larger checks overtake your head start. That crossover point for 62 versus waiting usually lands somewhere in the early 80s. So here is the honest way to see it. If you do not expect to live much past your early 80s, claiming early often wins. If you expect a long life, waiting often wins. It is, in large part, a bet on longevity. The exact crossover depends on your own benefit and a few assumptions, so treat it as a guide, not a promise. Which brings us to the first big factor, your health and family history. This is the uncomfortable one, but it matters more than any other. If you are in strong health, your parents lived long lives, and you expect many years ahead, then waiting tends to pay off because you are likely to live past that break-even point and enjoy years of larger checks. But if your health is fragile, or you have real reasons to expect a shorter retirement, then claiming early can be the wiser, kinder choice, letting you enjoy your money while you can. There is no shame in either answer. It is simply being honest with yourself about your own life. The second factor is simple and practical. Do you actually need the money now? For many people, this settles it. If you are retiring at 62 and that check pays your bills, you claim it, full stop. The math of waiting does not matter if you cannot keep the lights on, but if you have other income, savings, a pension, a paid-off home, then you have a luxury, the freedom to wait and let your benefit grow. I knew someone who retired right at 62, owned their home outright, carried no debt, and simply wanted their years back. For them, claiming early was not a mistake. It was a perfectly good decision. Needing your benefit early is not failing at retirement. It is using it for exactly what it is there for. The right answer follows your circumstances, not a slogan. The third factor catches people off guard. Are you planning to keep working while you claim? Because if you claim before full retirement age and you are still earning above a certain limit, Social Security will temporarily hold back part of your benefit. In 2026, that limit is around $24,000 a year. Earn more than that while claiming early, and they withhold $1 for every 2 you go over. The good news, you get that money back later as a larger check once you reach full retirement age. But it means claiming early while still working a solid job often does not make much sense. If you are working, waiting usually fits better. The fourth factor is one almost nobody thinks about, and it is huge if you are married. When one spouse passes away, the survivor generally keeps the larger of the two benefits, not both. So if you are the higher earner, the size of your check does not just affect you. It can become the income your spouse lives on for the rest of their life. By waiting and growing your benefit, you may be protecting your husband or wife with a larger survivor check long after you are gone. For many couples, that single fact tilts the higher earner toward waiting. It is not just about you. It is about the person you would leave behind. So let us pull this into a simple way to decide. Start with the practical question, do you need the money now? If yes, claim and do not feel guilty about it. If no, look honestly at your health and family history, whether you are still working, and whether a spouse would depend on your benefit. The more of those point toward a long life, a paycheck, or a spouse to protect, the more waiting makes sense. The more they point the other way, the more claiming early makes sense. Write those 4 factors down and weigh them honestly, and the answer usually becomes clearer than you expect. There is no universal right answer, only the right one for your life. One more thing, Medicare is separate. It starts at 65, no matter when you claim, so do not let one rush the other. The worst choice of all is claiming blind. So here is what to carry with you. Claiming at 62 gives you more checks, each permanently smaller. Waiting towards 70 gives you fewer checks, each permanently bigger, and it can protect a spouse for life. Which is right comes down to your health, your need for the money, your work, and your family, not a slogan from a comment section. You worked your whole life and paid into this. The least it deserves is a decision made on purpose, with clear eyes. Now you know how to make it. If this helped, share it with someone facing this choice, and subscribe, because there is a lot more where this came from. I will see you in the next video.